It's time for our morning show. It's kind of getting a habit to be a morning show, isn't it? What am I doing today? Well, I had a problem because my freezer in my bedroom, my little refrigerator freezer, it was getting so small because of ice buildup. So I decided if I want to put any more food in there, I'm going to have to defrost it. Now, I usually like to defrost in the summertime when it's warmer. But then I thought, wait, I could put all the food in the freezer out in the snow out my door while I turn it off. So that's what I'm doing. So then I went outside with the sacks of frozen food and stuff. And right then, something from the roof dripped on my head. So my hair is wet right back here. So that's why it's so flat. But I didn't care. I'm just going to do what I was going to do anyway. So you never know what's going to happen. You think you're all ready. And I'm just cleaning today. You know, you reach a point where you can't stand it anymore. I mean, I can't. I just couldn't stand I needed to vacuum and put this stuff away. And Teemu is taking over my life. I got to hide the Teemu sign because, you know, we're not talking about, we are talking about Teemu. Anyway, I went through all the sacks that I have in my closet of the Teemu gifts and things I'm keeping and stuff and sorted all through it and got out all the great grandbabies things. And I do not need to buy her anymore. I have way more than enough. In fact, I had to take some away because, you know, I can't give that many gifts because the next great-grandchild, I may not be able to. So, and I still have a few more things ordered that will be coming. So anyway, but I sorted it all through and I found out I have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 blankets. So I'm just giving her 2 blankets and I'll save the others for another great-grandchild. I think that would be the smart thing to do. So that's what I was doing. I vacuumed my floor. I'm defrosting my refrigerator freezer, and getting some things done because I couldn't stand it anymore. We have a snowstorm right now, and I don't want to go anywhere, so it's just a good day to stay home and clean. But I wanted to do a morning show. So what did I want to talk about? I just kind of think of things that happen in my life. And so then I say, that could be a morning show for us to talk about. Now, I was reading some of the posts that people make, and, you know, what are they called? They text me. They comment. That's it. They make comments on the videos. And so I don't get to all of them. I'm so sorry. I try to read as much as I can, but after a while, after an hour of reading them, I'm like, I got to get busy, and I can't just keep doing this, and I got to do stuff. And so, you know, I want to answer every one of them because, I have something to say. I could answer every one of them in a big old letter, but I can't do it because I can't take time because I have a life and I have things to do and I have chores and accomplishments and, you know, so I got to put the phone down after a while. I get messages even all through this. So, sorry, I was just reading my message here. Star Valley just lost their game. The high school. Oh, no. Somebody always has to lose and somebody has to win. Don't let it ruin your life. That's a little tip for you. Okay, so I was in the middle of the night thinking, well, no, I was sleeping really, but then I woke up, probably to go to the bathroom, and then I thought, what does TV really mean to us? You know, it's not just a pastime. I have tied that sign. It's not just our pastime. To many, TV means a lot more. You know, how many people out there turn their TV on because they're lonely, they're depressed, they want some entertainment, they don't have a friend? My grandma Golden, she lived alone. She was a widow for a long time, you know, maybe 20 years. probably because in the 60s he died. She was in her 60s when Grandpa died, and then she lived to in her 80s. So she was a widow for 20 years alone. And she always said, "No, I will never remarry. I have a husband. He's just not here right now." That's so sweet. So, but her morning, we're creatures of habit. And so she would have a habit. And every morning she would watch Bob Barker on The Price is Right. And she acted like he was her friend. And she knew all about him and his animals and everything. And then when he went gray headed, that kind of bothered her because she said he's like a different guy now. But she would, daily watch that. And that was her friend. And then we had soap operas, and those people on those shows were our friends, and we had to see what was going to happen next. Now, why do we do that? We know it's not a true story, but we'd still love to see what was happening with them. And I remember watching QVC, and this was, in the 80s, pregnant. I would always watch it going to sleep at night. And you got to know those hosts and hostesses and the commentators and whatever you call them that were doing the shows, and you got to know about them, and you loved when they mentioned their families or what they were doing. I just think that is part of our humanity, our human part of us, that we want to know about people, and we want to. Some of us. My husband, if we're watching a show like I Survived or any shows like that, if they start telling about their life, he fast forwards it. What makes them think we want to know about their life? Well, I wanted to hear it. I don't like watching TV with him sometimes. We have to choose what we're going to watch together because I want to know about people. And I think people, a lot of us women, and men too maybe, want to know about people that we come in contact with. Now, I had this one friend that had a YouTube channel. And before I started, I was asking him for tips and ideas and what I should do and what I shouldn't do, And he quit doing it, though, because he said he got a lot of bad mail from people. It wasn't mail, though. It was texts from people, comments. And I said something about your family. He goes, he has a married man with family. And he goes, "No, I would never mention my family on there." And then he said, "I keep that private." Then I was thinking about that. My favorite channels are the ones who open up themselves and tell about their family and what's happening. And, you know, we like that. When I watch Hey Everybody and she tells about her mother and her brothers and stuff, I want to hear it, and her roof. And, you want to hear that. And that one lady that does it with her husband. And I want to hear about why is she called Haulin' with Meemaw? She must be a grandma. I want to hear about the grandkids. I want to hear more. And, we used to have the soap operas. Then the reality shows came about. We loved the reality shows. Then we found out that a lot of the reality wasn't really reality. It was kind of a script they played. So then I'm like, oh, I lost interest in them when I found out it was a script or a reenactment of a true reality or something. But we want to know. Maybe it's because we're nosy. We want to know about our neighbors over there. We want to know what they're doing. And is that a new car they have? Huh? And so I like to share my life with you guys. I like to let you know. I know you're probably, when in the beginning, you might have said, huh, what's she about? Why is she on here? What does she have to say? And then as you get to know them a little more, you want to know more and more. So, and I remember when going back to why we like TV. Some people don't. I have a daughter-in-law. She doesn't watch TV much. And some people are like cleaning or reading or doing other things, but some of us, let's admit, we love TV. My mother loved it. My grandma loved it. When I get in my bedroom, the first thing I do is turn my TV on. It's like company for us. We like to hear the noise, but some people like peace and quiet, I know. And I remember so in the olden days, they would turn on just to watch their program, like Gunsmoke or whatever. And my grandparents, they would turn it on, but then when that show was over, they turned it off. Not me. I just leave it on all the time. I just like the company. And I know one time my daughter was, Emily was dating this guy, and, he came over a lot, and he goes, "Your TV's always on." And, she never thought anything of it because she grew up with me. And yeah, yeah, our TV's always on. And I guess at his house, they didn't have the TV on all the time like we do. So every household's different. And so I'm not saying one's bad and one's worse and one's not bad, and I do think we should do other things, which I do, but usually if I don't have the TV on, then I have an earplug in with the uh, podcast. Do you know why? And my husband, I go to bed with one in my ear. And my husband goes, "Just think, let your mind think." And no, if I lay there without anything, I start worrying and I start thinking about mistakes I've made. I start worrying about my kids. I start worrying about, anything that come up in your life. I don't want to think about that. I don't want to think about the past and mistakes and problems and what could happen. I just like to hear about somebody else's problem and watch somebody else's problem. And that's how I've got through a lot of my depression and my loneliness when I didn't have a husband and I didn't have a friend or anything. And then, Jamie watches TV to learn something. He always watches the documentaries, the History Channel, the anything about physics. Most of the time, people leave the room when he turns the TV on because his are all educational shows. And I like to be entertained. I learn stuff from him too, but mostly I want to be entertained. And I remember there's, certain things that happen in your life that TV's more important. Like when I was pregnant all those times, home pregnant with little kids, I'd let them watch their little cartoons. But then, like when I did my chores and stuff, but then it was my program time when they had their naps and stuff. But I remember getting up early to watch a certain show and not lay in bed. And because, back then we only had one TV in the living room. We didn't have a TV in every room of the house. And so I would get up early to watch my certain favorite show because you couldn't catch it again if you missed it. Back then, we didn't have a record button. So I realized, and I think that my TV, my little morning show, gives us a habit, something to lean to in the morning when we turn the TV on because we don't have TV like we used to. Okay, let's see my notes. I'm reading my notes. What else did I want to say? Because I want everybody, okay, I share my life because I want everybody to know about me. I'm not ashamed of anything. I would love to share more and tell more. Like, I have some really good stuff I could share. But those people are still alive, so I don't want to really spread, on that. But I really would love to tell you more because, I have some good stuff. And I don't want to hurt people's feelings, like the exes and the steps and the in-laws and friends and neighbors. But I really could share a lot of more good stuff. But I can't because then everyone would hate me. But when they die, and if I'm still alive, I'll share it because I have some good stuff. And it's all reality. That's what we all go through every day. And I know you guys have stories you could tell about, the truth of the story. But we can't. Darn it. And one lady I was talking to, I wanted to tell her about how my ex-husband died. And, oh, don't you tell that story. I wanted to, though. He's dead now, and all my family knows how he died, and I just would like to share it, but she told me that I shouldn't. Children might be watching. Oh, but anyway, you could have read it in a newspaper when it happened. All right. So I'm going to share all the experiences that I can and all the stories that I can, because I have had a lot of stories and I still have a lot more stories. After I watch some of my videos on here, I think, oh, I should have told that story. That would have matched perfect with that. But I'm not going to record and do them again, because if I try to do it again, it just messes up terribly. So you just get live. What it is what it is. I don't rewind, I don't edit, and this is it. You get it. If you were sitting in my living room right now and we were talking, I couldn't say, wait, we're rewinding. Forget I said that. Nope. We have to just keep going on. So I needed TV when I was home alone and the husband was working. I had all my little children, and I needed it when I had surgery on my hips. And TV was a very good thing because, all right, I did. I had some drugs when I had surgery. They gave me some real good drugs. So, you can't read. Sometimes you can't read. I used to love to read, but my mind just doesn't stick to it. And the other problem is when you're old, I know you have this problem too. You're reading and you fall asleep. Right? And you fall asleep. And then you have to try to find your place and start over. Takes you 5 months to read a book. My poor dad, he would be like that. It must have taken him forever to finish reading a book. Whereas TV, you could rewind or rewatch it again. I guess a book, you have to find your place again and read it again. That's what he did. But I don't enjoy reading too much right now because I can't concentrate, and my mind is zooming ahead thinking of what I should be doing, what I could be doing, what I want to do. And then when I read, I fall asleep, and I don't know where I was. And then there's sometimes we're so poor, we can't do it or go anywhere. Has that happened to you ever? Got to wait for payday, so might as well just sit here and watch TV because there's nothing else I can do. That's happened to me before. Just watch a good movie because I'm poor. And of course, it's your company, your friends, you're lonely. Now, people keep texting me, my children. That was from Emily, my daughter. I should turn this off. Does that work? I don't know how to turn it off. My phone's always on. I'll just put it like this. I know. I'll throw it way over there on the bed. There, we can't hear it now. Sorry. All right. So then, why do you guys watch TV? What happens in your life? Sometimes I know. See, my grandma, she got, at a certain point, her car got taken from her because she wasn't allowed to drive anymore. So she couldn't even go anywhere. She's home all the time. Has that happened to you? You can't go anywhere. You might even have money. So you shop on wherever, on QVC or the Teemu or Amazon. You're shopping because you do have money, but you don't have a car to go anywhere. Now, I used to read the Inquirer and the Star. My mother would buy them, and when she was done reading them, she'd give them to me. So I never have to buy them. But I loved reading about those movie stars and everything and what they were doing, and I usually believed everything. But now that I'm older, I don't even care about those movie stars anymore. I used to think I had held them on a pedestal and thought they were cool and everything. I don't anymore. I think they all have big problems. And they all, like, I know one time we found something about one movie star and they're just like, did you know they were like that? Oh, they all are like that. They die in their 50s because they abuse drugs or the alcohol or whatever because they have a lot of money. So they spend it on their indulgences and ruin their health. And I remember Ed McMahon when he died or when he was old and he had to file bankruptcy. He didn't even have a house paid for. And I thought, all the money he made in his life and he doesn't even have a house paid for? What did he do with his money? Because, in my era, you tried to buy a house and get it paid for. That was your goal, so that when you retired, your house was paid for. He didn't even have a house paid for. What's he doing with all his money? Probably divorces, and all the ex-wives got his money. I don't know. But you know, and then like, oh, I used to love Lady Gaga and I still love her singing and stuff. But then when I heard about her and her real life and everything, I'm like, I wouldn't even like her as a friend. She's too liberal for me. And, you know, the stories you hear about them and the messes they made of their life, and oh, I don't even care anymore about them. So if they haven't done something really good, of course, then you have people that do, movie stars that do things good and donate a lot of money. I remember Oprah and that ice guy, I don't know what his name was, the other guy, and when they had the Maui fires in Hawaii, and then they wanted all of us to donate money to them and stuff, which is fine and dandy, but how much did they donate? They're the ones with all the money. And I do think they just make all that money and then what are they doing good with it? I don't know. I'm judging. I know I am. But that's the thing. I don't want to hear about them anymore because they're not real. And half the stuff you hear isn't real and it wasn't. So I don't buy the Inquirer Star. I never did anyway, but I don't even look at them now. I don't care. So, um, I think that, you know, that TV is good for a lot of people. You can watch a lot of good channels. You can watch a lot of good movies. You can watch a lot of things that teach you. And so it's not bad just wasting your time watching TV because we aren't. My husband's learned so many things. Although I told him when we go to the doctor, don't tell him. On YouTube, they told me that this is my problem because doctors don't like to hear that at all. He goes, I know, Dr. Gonzalez, he didn't, I said, just say, I read it somewhere. Then okay, then they'll listen to you. But if you say, I watched on YouTube that I'm supposed to have this vitamin and I have this ailment and everything, they don't like hearing that. But it does help us. I have learned so many things from going on YouTube and looking up how to fix my washer, what's wrong. I had a refrigerator we bought used and it kept popping the circuit breaker. So I went on YouTube and typed it in. Why does it keep popping the circuit? And it told me it was the ice maker in there, and don't just turn it off. You had to unhook it, and that fixed it. And I mean, there's so many things I've gone to the College of YouTube to learn how to do. And like my son, he has something broken. I said, look up on YouTube. They'll tell you how to fix it. They'll tell you, you know, and usually you could find it. Here on even my channel, I found out how to edit and how to do things by just asking on here. And so TV can be good. And it is. I want my channel to be a good thing in people's lives. So, I talked about all of it, right? What does TV mean to you? That was my topic today. And it's a good thing sometimes, you know, because there's a lot of lonely, poor, depressed people out there, and that it keeps them company. So, I want to keep you company, video friends. And I have lots more plans for the next week, so stay tuned and keep subscribing because that's what happens. We all get unsubscribed from our favorites, so keep checking it and keep subscribing. And you know, I don't know how many subscribers I have. The last time I looked, I write it down every once in a while. The last time I looked, I had 4,300. So I never believed that. And I don't even want to think about it. Because if I think of 4,000 people watching me, I might not want to get on here. No, but I'm glad you are. Because we need reality of life. And face it. Okay. Have a good day.